Um, Thanks, Seth. So we welcome everybody. I think everybody knows everyone. So we'll just get started. We've had a lot of inquiries about the funding applications, which is good. One came in today, which I will share with the commission members this week. I didn't want to bring it up tonight. It just wasn't on the agenda. I expect to hear from two other organizations. We may have a special meeting in February just to possibly vote if we need to. So that's that. The harbor merchants have received.
Excuse me, Sue.
Yeah.
Um,
Got
I
it.
just wanted to mention, I really appreciate all the time. I think Gina put a lot of time in, and you did as well, getting the application form in the form that the town was comfortable with. And I'm really
Yes.
pleased that folks have been able to navigate the form and the process, and we're getting grant funding out to really worthy and important activities that consistent with our mission and make Scituate the place it is. So
Great. Thank you.
There's a lot of work went into that, and the product was really outstanding.
Thank you. I'm going to add Susan Dayleader to that too. She
Great.
we had a lot of language back and forth about what was to go in and what was not. So, and it took a while, a little longer than we hoped. But anyway, it is working pretty well, which is great.
Right.
Thank you. Thanks
and
for that.
Really great coordination with town administration.
Yeah, thanks. And speaking of that one we approved in late November, the lights for the harbor, they're getting great reviews on that happening, and everyone's happy that they're staying on through year round. So they look great and add a lot to enhance the business down there. The Scituate Chamber has elected a new president and VP this month. Congratulations, Jane, wherever you are. I cannot see you. And Jane Norton is the new president, and Elaine Bongerzone is the new vice president. So I'm looking forward to working with the chamber closely during the next year and beyond. Congratulations, Jane. Barry and Grace have been working very hard on communication. Thank you. I know that's been a lot of work as well. We are actually combining our conversation about a marketing firm with what the work that Barry and Grace are doing. So we're moving ahead on trying to finalize what it is exactly that we need so that we don't go in blind. And I think Linda had some great comments the last time we met about that. So thank you, Linda. Gina and Susan have been keeping track of the funding applications, and they'll give us a little update tonight. And as I said, Susan, I think you missed it. And we did. Oh no, well, I sent it to you. We got another application, and we may have a couple more. Susie was going to give us an update of the Scituate Visitor Center, but she is not feeling well, so she's not going to be here. So we're going to jump right in. Karen Canfield is away sipping on some drinks with umbrellas in them somewhere. So she will not be joining us. And we'll start right off here with Shark. Paul, if there's any update there.
Yeah, thanks, Sue. We're really working hard at Shark, the Pier 44 park development. The engineers were out doing some geotechnical work in December. It's been completed. And then we'll working on the plan. Proposal we'll submit to Mass EPA. That will cover permitting and environmental review. So lots going on, not too much visibly down there, but a lot of work going. And so we're excited about the park and how it's moving forward. So we're just continuing the environmental and permitting process. Also looking at grant funding, we hope to attract quite a bit of grant funding.
Okay, great.
And always happy to answer any questions.
Still sort of the same time frame.
Yeah, I think we're shooting for probably town meeting in the fall of 2025.
Okay.
Just anytime you touch the water, the permitting process is extensive, rightly so. But our MEPA permitting is probably a 12-month time frame. And we'll get to, I think we're about 60% design. With the permitting process, we'll get farther into the design, the cost estimates, and then really be able to focus on funding and some of the other aspects of it. I've mentioned before, but I'll just repeat, Treese May is with the Scituate Cultural District, Scituate Harbor Cultural District is on point for developing and coordinating with the community on elements of the park that will reflect our history, culture, art, and recreation. So those will be important elements to kind of create a place and where people feel welcome and really add to the park. So that's all in the works.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. Susan,
Hi.
I saw Cole Parkway, and I'm sure everyone probably has a story. Is there anything to report? Has there been a meeting since we
Nothing
last?
to report.
Okay,
Has not been a meeting since November. There is one scheduled for the 9th, though, of February. And I guess in the last meeting, unfortunately, I was unable to attend. They, Matt, who you met in December, he and Corey Miles met with the engineer and they walked the sites and talked about the scope of the project. There will be some storm surge modeling done by Woods Hole Group and BSC Group. Will be looking at landscaping, but it is expected that the engineering process is going to take at least a year, with the first deliverable to be an understanding of the existing conditions, and that report would be due right around the end of this year. So big, long process, unfortunately, and going to take some time, but I'll be able to report more after my next meeting.
okay. I mean, that, what's happened to Maine this winter and all areas up north, it's really put a spotlight on a lot of these things, and having to plan much more carefully. Of course, Scituate has been experiencing this longer than Maine, but now it has hit Maine and New Hampshire and everything else, so. Okay, thank you, Susan. Gina, do you have anything to say about the grant application at this point?
I can say a little something because I think it's good to sort of give a summary of where we're at. I
Yeah.
also wanted to thank Paul for, mentioning the hard work that was put into the application, and I'm glad that groups are utilizing it. And just to everyone out there in the internet world that watches this later on YouTube, if you have any questions about the application, please reach out to any of us on EDC. We'd be happy to help you with the application and sort of figuring out what categories of funding we can approve. I just wanted to check in just to say that we have given out some funding to 3 different groups so far, totaling $19,550, just to sort of give everyone an idea of where we're at in our budget. And it's only January or end of January. So please get those applications in so we can fund more great events and fun things for our town.
Great. Did anybody have any questions for Gina? Okay, thank you, Gina. Linda, so we started spelling your first name correctly.
going
And
off
now
the
we've got
rails on
your
the last
last name. So we're
That's
working
okay.
on that. We're working on that. Susie's the same. Susie, we always spell Susie's last name wrong.
Yeah,
So sorry about that.
no, I don't, believe me, I've been called worse, so. So,
Okay.
so advisory committee is still going through the budget. We actually have a couple weeks off in a row because of either people not being ready or people being ready early, and we squeezed them in there early, so that's kind of nice. I mean, it seems pretty standard this year. There's no warrants or anything. I know, yeah, my God, the name just went out of my head, but no petitions or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's just basically the budget, and it's a pretty conservative budget. We did go over at EDC last, well, 2 weeks ago now, I guess. And I know I say this all the time, but Susan actually, day leader, actually produced something that the EDC was pretty happy with. It kind of basically showed where some of the money you have granted this year goes, because the EDC budget just shows up as technical services. And Nancy had produced the basically the ledger for us for the last 3 years. And unless you know who the checks are being written to, you don't know what they're for.
Right.
And there was a whole bunch of porta potties listed, and unless our IT department's using them as offices, that's really not technical services. So, you know,
Yeah. Yep.
So I do think that somebody should be putting together something to show off what the EDC has done with the money over the years. Because
Specifically.
nobody really knows. They just know lights appeared in the harbor. They don't know who paid for them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, you know, and just like, and it just has to be simple. We didn't need the thing, you know, like events, advertising, you know what I mean? Like, and throw it in there, because it was really, they were really surprised at what EDC had done with the money this year. They had no idea. The rest of the EDC. So, I mean, the rest of advisory. So I think it would be great for you guys to do that. And other than that, we're just getting ready for town meeting.
Right. Yeah, I think with the grant, particularly now that we have the funding application, it will be much easier for us to track and report. You know, to go back, we probably can do that. But hopefully Susan brought enough information, at least.
Oh, it's great.
Good. Susan, that's it. You're in charge from now on, going to advisory. It's such a good job.
No problem. I miss my old friends in town hall, advisory committee, and the board of select people who used to be on the advisory committee with me. She's very funny. Now, the tracker, ultimately, you know, Gina was key in sort of making sure that we're actually tracking these things. So I'm maintaining an Excel spreadsheet on that, and in fact, just input the one we just got that we haven't decided upon. But I agree completely. You know, if every department had this, I think town meeting would be so much easier, and particularly the school department. But at any rate, having that line item is really important. So anyway, we have it. It's all good.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Linda. Does anyone have any questions for Linda? No? Okay.
I just add to that, really appreciate that suggestion, Linda. We should keep track of who's getting funds and get that out to folks, maybe even include it on our website or EDC, so that
Good idea.
you know, people can connect the dots of
Mhm.
right, you know, where this makes a difference.
Yeah, it's been interesting because since we've started the grant the funding application, a lot of people have realized that we have money to give away. So it's been, it's been great that people are sort of realizing that we can help them if they fall into the right category. So when working with the town, it's been much easier to figure out who we can and cannot fund. So but thank you, everyone who had comments there. Communications, Barry, are you ready to speak?
Yes, sorry about that. I'm here.
Mhm.
Now the boys are both blurred here. There we go. And Thomas is on Take Your Baby to Work Day. He's really enjoying this. Thank you for these riveting presentations, he said. Um, yeah, I'm actually I've got a few updates. Grace really wishes she could be here, but unfortunately for you all, you have me today. So that means that my first update is going to be from my liaison duties with the bike committee. Sorry for going a little off agenda, but just wanted to
Okay.
that the bike committee is doing a fantastic job, and they are planning a slow roll, which is a sort of bike parade from Rec Center to Peggotty Beach on Earth Day, April 20th.
Ah,
And I think that whenever the lighthouse comes up, maybe they're going to want to bike to the lighthouse as well. But I wanted to update that, and also that they had a report at their last meeting to talk about how the Beach Commission has inquired about putting racks at the beaches, which
Mhm.
is great, and I think is relevant to our work here as well. Yeah, Grace and I and a cast that is growing have been working on the business communication survey. And as Sue, you pointed out, that work has, I wouldn't say it's fully combined, but it works really beautifully together with the marketing brief. And so the EDC, the communication survey, we have started our interviews with figures in town who are helping to inform the survey that will go out to businesses. We spoke to Kathy Regan, who's the communications director in town. Sue, thanks for being there and helping us out with that.
Mhm.
And she has come back, and one of the things that we want is the stakeholders in town who we speak to, who are coming from the town perspective. We want to make sure that we're getting information that's relevant to them. And she has actually helped us by asking for a few questions specifically to be put onto the survey, including how the town of Scituate can assist businesses. So there's a lot of interest. A couple of interesting tidbits coming out of that was that figuring out how to get to people is, of course, as we know, a challenge. There's a very fragmented communications sort of output and input scene with the Facebooks and the various ways people are getting their information has created a bit of a learning curve. But Kathy was really enthusiastic, very clearly plugging into the challenges of, say, giant storms coming through the town and communicating that out to people. Up next, we have we're going to be speaking to the Karens on the select board, Karen Canfield and Karen Connolly, and the now I know new president of the chamber, Jane. We're looking forward to speaking to you later this week. Originally, of course, we were hoping to have this survey out a little bit earlier, but I don't think we're just creating justifications. Are pretty happy that it wasn't out before some of the marketing work came in, because what we are seeing is a real opportunity to be able to help to inform a marketing plan and really be a force multiplier here by, instead of just having the input of 10 or 15 stakeholders, have a lot more and be able to help whoever comes in to help us with marketing with this. So right now, our timeline is key stakeholder interviews finishing by the middle of February. End of February, being able to develop and release the survey end of March, getting that back, being able to analyze that in April with a readout in May that will be able to inform a marketing plan once we get a vendor on board for that, and hopefully arranging a community leaders forum meeting around what we learn from this survey and the associated interviews. Moving into the marketing brief, which is, as you say, sort of like a complementary piece. I really want to thank Kristen Jamsky, who is on the line right now. She
Yes.
has been meeting both synchronously and asynchronously with me and Grace, and being very, very gracious with her time and expertise in helping to find a little more focus, maybe for sorry. For how we were able to go out to vendors and really frame exactly what it is that we're looking for our marketing work that EDC is looking into. She has helped to hone some of the original work into a little bit of a sharper statement of work. And one of the sort of objectives that we're and what some of the objectives are that we're looking for, and what we've done is tried to sort of pull back, make sure that we're giving good direction, but also getting the right suggestions that are data focused, as opposed to suggesting directions to potential vendors. And so just to be able to share right now, one of the main objectives, or a couple of the main objectives that are in draft right now, are to deliver, asking vendors to deliver creative, original, and effective digital brand and marketing strategies to work as collaborative partners in the development, implementation, optimization of a strategy to market Scituate to an expanded audience from the South Shore region and beyond, which includes positioning Scituate as the ideal destination for residents and visitors alike. We feel that this, from a timeline perspective, is just about to be ready to start sharing out among this group. And Sue, what we'd like to do is on a pretty short basis, get your input to then be able to share out to other stakeholders within EDC in order to be able to prepare a sorry, to prepare a request for proposals on a hopefully a pretty quick basis. But the idea would be to really have this work ready to go and ready to be started in May, right as we have a fully analyzed communications report, essentially to be able to hand to a vendor to be able to supercharge some of their work. So they can really understand the stakeholder environment, be able to work collaboratively with these stakeholders, know what they're getting into, as opposed to, I mean, one of the things that we hope to be able to save is we only have so much budget. Let's utilize our hours for free that can be leveraged by the professionals. So thanks to, I mean, Grace has done an enormous amount of work, and Kristen, thank you so much for your help. Finally, the Community Leaders Forum. I can't mention that in May, we're hoping to be sharing the business communication survey. And Sue, as you know, we're in touch with you about potentially meeting prior to that. And we sent out a CLF update in early January, and hopefully we'll be able to have some more communication with that group in the meantime. That is my long update.
Thank you very much, Barry. And I know Grace has put a lot of work in, and I'm really glad you mentioned Kristen, because I know she's been working quite a bit as well, and it's been a great addition. And I don't know how we're going to steal her from the Water Resources Committee, but we are certainly going to try. And that, I guess, is now on record.
Indeed.
But really, thank you to the three of you. It's been a lot of work, and I appreciate it. We all appreciate it, and the business community, I think, will appreciate it once we get things off the ground.
We're really hoping that each of these will feed into each other and be shareable and utilizable and leverageable for everyone, as opposed to work that goes nowhere. We really want to make sure this is work that everyone can utilize.
Mhm. Okay. I just have one question, Susan. Do you have enough information to reach back to the companies that we did speak with and kind of give them a timeline again?
Well,
do you wanna-
are we gonna do an RFP and include them, or are we gonna go in a
That's what we
different
don't
direction? I just
know.
wanna be-
That may be the update for them, because now we don't know if that's the case.
Hey, Susan, I think it might be good when we share what the current statement of work looks like with Sue, if you might be involved in that meeting. I think that doesn't create quorum. We hope we can make sure it doesn't, and so we can discuss what you feel is the best way to go. But one thing I would love to do is to once we have that meeting, get out to both vendors who have proposed as well as vendors who may propose in the future, to let them know of our intent to ask for proposals. But it's sort of a question that is out there at the moment, but we'd like to be concluding pretty quickly. So we'd love your input on that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would depend on the extent of the RFP.
Mm.
If there's an extensive RFP, I would think the budget's probably bigger than,
That's right.
for a $10,000 budget, I don't think we need a 30-page RFP. So, I mean, it's just my thinking, I mean,
No, but it
I
could be that
do-
we're including other aspects of the marketing like we were thinking earlier.
absolutely,
Yeah,
right. I mean, it's
So it
probably gonna
would-
be a lot deeper, honestly, than what we originally.
right,
So,
right.
which I think
Right.
is fine, and I think I can say to them, listen, we are in a government entity, we really do need to do an RFP process. We kind of jumped the gun, sorry. You'll be hearing again from us, but it'll probably be a little bit more formal, and luckily you already did some of the work already, so hopefully it won't be heavy lifting, but we're probably gonna expand the vendors that we're
So,
seeking.
yes, yeah,
Considering,
okay.
so, thank you.
All right,
Awesome.
Barry, are you all set? You've got your other job there?
I am all set, and don't worry, we want to, I think we're very aligned on not having a 30-page RFP. I think the idea is simply to be actually taking what was there, and just making sure it's just very clear and transparent. So think more 3 pages, not 30 pages.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
I
you,
do, and
Barry.
I think honestly, it's absolutely right. It's so much better to have a strategy that is clear. It's much easier
Yeah.
for them, and then we get back what we want. So,
Right, right, and it's a good investment. Okay, well, thank you for that. Jane. Madam President.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Well, happy to be here, and we're starting out pretty quickly at the chamber. We actually have an event tomorrow night. It's open to all. Scintillating topic about taxes, but important and very important, and things to know before you file, and a little forecast for 2024 or 2025, however you want to look at it. So one thing that was really kind of fun, because it was going to be a morning coffee, and the board suggested that it might attract more people at night after work. So I was sort of scrambling around, and I thought, wow, the real, we could meet there, and we are going to meet there. And we're going to have some pizzas delivered by CPs. And he's going to stay and hang out and network. So it's kind of fun because it utilizes 3 members, and I'm hoping we can continue to do things like that and pay our members for their services and pizzas. So I don't know. I hope things are are going to continue in the same vein. I think so. Elaine's been great as vice president, and I've been working like crazy here organizing, one of my favorite things to do. But just trying to get the message out that, we really want to build bridges with other organizations in town, with other business districts. And, we'll be reaching out as long as others want to speak with me and anyone else on the chamber. But I'm anxious about the survey as well, because we had started in our membership committee a survey November. We just didn't have the bandwidth, so we have a couple of questions kind of put out there, but never were able to follow through. And then I heard about your survey, and I thought that sounds even better. So I think it's very cool. I think a lot of things are coming together. It just sounds like there's lots of people willing to help, and it lately I've been really thinking it would be fun to bring back sort of our civic membership or friends of the chamber. If people are interested in helping out, working with the chamber, attending events at a discount or whatever. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, but I don't know. I just feel like we're a lot of things are softening, and we'll just continue to gain momentum, I hope. I think that's
Right.
it. Yeah. Oh, and we did,
have-
on one other note, we did do an ad, that we have placed a full page ad in the Sea Plymouth guidebook, which
Good,
appears in 3 visitor centers down in Plymouth. And, hopefully it will, so what is it? Winter, spring, summer, and fall. So we talk about the different seasons and show lots of beautiful pictures of scenic Scituate. So I think we're all kind of on the same page and moving towards the same thing.
great. Jane, do you want to say anything about Heritage Days? No, you don't have to. It might be too soon.
It's in a very early talks. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
That's first weekend in August, and I'm not sure when the next EDC meeting is, but we'll certainly have more information by then. And I know
Okay,
Elaine's aware of the application process too. I think she spoke with you maybe. Or
yeah,
didn't.
so you guys, you would probably be applying in July.
July, okay,
Yeah, so you're good. You're good for now.
okay, excuse me.
Yeah.
Back, okay. That's all I got, thanks.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We are to the visitor center, that Susie was going to report on, but I will, give you a brief, update. The visitor center was awarded, $25,000 from the state. And then it was taken away, half of it was taken away, when the governor came out in January. And so they were going to get 25,000, they may get 12,000. So, and there's still nothing there. So, it put a little damper on things for them. So, right now they're in the middle of trying to monetize the site and just talking about different ways to do things. So stay tuned. They're fine. They're actually one of the best things that the visitor center heard was when it was started in 2021. For that year, we had 8,000 visitors. At the end of 2023, we had 51,000 visitors on the site that actually look at the page and jump around. And the events calendar is very popular. Historic is very popular. So we're taking advantage of all the information that we have that are the website developer can provide us. So it's still a work in progress, but it's moving along. But that was kind of the big disappointment in the last couple of weeks with them. So other than that, I think Susie will have a full report the next time we meet. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer those if I can.
Dude, did the state provide a reason for the reduction? Like, was it that the funding that was originally put aside for tourism was no longer there or something?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, you may have noticed that the governor cut everything, pulled back on everything. So some people got their complete funding taken away. I don't
Except
know about,
housing,
what's that?
except housing.
Okay,
It's a $4 trillion or some, I don't know, some giant bill, $4 billion or whatever it is. Cause
Well-
I was gonna mention this later, so I won't take up time now unless you want to hear about it. But I did see the Secretary of Housing speak at a Brockton Frozen. Anyway,
we can hear you.
oh, good. Anyway, so housing is a huge, huge initiative.
Hmm. Yeah,
And the Secretary of Housing actually was an excellent speaker
mhm,
and is willing to speak to people. Like, so if, you know, we ever wanted to have a housing forum so that people could hear what's going on, because I think that that is one of the issues. People
Mhm.
don't understand, you know, what the issues are around housing, and, you know, people look at new sale thing and the thing on 3A and like, why, how can we get this done? And anyway, he was very good. So if
Okay.
that's out there, he did offer to like come speak to anybody if they wanted.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like it was just a reprioritizing of their agenda. That stinks.
Well, there's an anticipation of less revenue coming into the state. So I think they just cut everything. It was a pretty big article, I think maybe the second week of January, maybe second or third week of January. So that's that.
Susan, can I
Next-
ask, who's responsible for updating that web page?
Sperling, the
Well, they'll
The-
update it if people give them information. Who's supposed to be giving them information?
well, the committee does, the board.
Because somebody
What?
needs to really, I mean, it hasn't been updated since it went live. I mean, I'm just looking at it now. The Barca House by Wedgwood is listed under dining. They don't do dining. There's several restaurants not listed. I didn't go through everything. I was just brought it up to look at it. So somebody really needs to focus on updating it.
Okay. That's what he said. Okay. All right, North Scituate Amy unfortunately is teaching tonight, so she could not make it, but she said everything is status quo in North Scituate. Nothing coming up at the moment. Greenbush, Shelley, do you want to
Yes,
give us an update?
yes. Sorry, I have missed a couple of meetings. It's good to be back with everybody. Greenbush is doing well. So because I wasn't here in December, I'll give you a quick update from kind of that time frame. Most of the businesses kind of status quo, but I know we did, and a lot of the small businesses also did small business activities, but our shop, Birch Barn Designs, we hosted a really extensive event on Small Business Saturday, which was November 25th, the day after Thanksgiving. It's the biggest one that we'd hosted. So we had 13 other makers set up in our workshop, a food truck, a coffee truck. We got police detail, thankfully, because it was an event that warranted it. We had hundreds and hundreds of people in and out all day. So that was really fun. Good to see the activity down in Greenbush. And we want to keep it going. I'll update you on kind of our next event in just a minute. But just kind of looking around the neighborhood, some continuous updates to give for Greenbush. Most people know and probably have seen that Untold Brewing is very, very close to launching their third location. So that's in Plymouth at a new development down near the waterfront. And it looks like they're going to be sharing an opening date maybe next week. So keep an eye out for that. But that's very quickly on the heels. The other, so Sky Sail, they started, as you mentioned, they started leasing their housing, their apartments in October, November timeframe. And I tried to get in touch with their team to find out kind of how many of the units have been leased out. I wasn't able to hear back, but just through a couple of people who know some people who are leasing, they said that the leasing has been going very quickly. So that's interesting. I haven't seen a lot of activity, just, being in Greenbush, I haven't seen a ton of people coming and going over there yet. But again, kind of on the opposite side of it. So that may be why I'm missing it. The other angle that I would like to see at Sky Sale that I haven't yet is any commercial businesses moving in. I did leave a message. So Ellis Realty Advisors are the ones that are handling the commercial realty leases, and kind of twofold. I wanted to know for our committee or commission, but I also, for an event that we're planning in May, would love to loop in any commercial properties or tenants. So I'll email this group as soon as I hear back on an update for who's coming in there, but it kind of sounds like maybe they're still trying to find tenants. As a reminder, they do have, it looks like their first floor retail space is 3,500 square feet. Their second floor, it says retail restaurant is 1,200, and then there's also a standalone retail building at 1,900 square feet. So it would be fun to see some fun businesses come in there. The other interesting development, and this is very much word on the street, I don't know the validity of this rumor, but people say that it's pretty true. Apparently the area, commercial area where Rivershed and Duval and CP's is, that's going to be developed into housing, I think, is what we've heard. You guys probably know more than me.
I did
Yeah,
hear a
it
little
is, it is
something.
being developed as part of the, that medical building that's there.
Mhm.
That owns that property too. So CP's is one of the people. So Sky Sale Market, I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I know CP is moving into one of those new
Oh,
locations.
that's cool. That's good. And I knew Duval was looking at it originally, and Stephanie had mentioned this was maybe this time last year when I talked to her, and her comment was that they were being kind of particular about who was going to be moving in there, and she was a little disappointed. So then when I heard that that space by Rivershed might get developed, I was hoping that maybe Duval would be able to move over there, or even Rivershed. I mean, those are three great businesses that we would be kind of lost without. So I'm hoping that somewhere in Scituate they find a new home.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for CP's post where he talked about, getting ready to move to his new space, but I do know he did post it at some point.
Okay, that's
But
exciting.
yeah, so I think, and I don't know, I haven't heard anything about, Rivershed or anything else, so.
Yeah, I
We
haven't
will find
either.
out.
Mm.
So then the other event for Greenbush, we hosted our first event last year, which was called Get to Greenbush, and it was a neighborhood kind of block party, if you will, where all of the businesses in Greenbush got together to host events at our properties, each individual property, but all on the same Saturday. And last year it was the first Saturday in May. It was very, very well attended. We were pleased with the turnout. So the energy is back again this year. We're starting off our 2024 committee meeting next Tuesday is our first meeting. But I had already reached out to all the past year's businesses that participated and extend invitations to new businesses that had not been on our radar last year. So Inley School is one of the businesses I emailed to see if they wanted to do an event at their place. Bay State Fitness over in that plaza. Cam Roller, I think is his name. He's very excited to participate. So also Recurve K9, they were not involved last year, but they're excited to get involved. So I think there's some synergies between Recurve and Driftway Animal Hospital, and Driftway Animal Hospital did a bang up job last year. Lots of fun, just kind of excitement down in that corner. So I'm looking for that to build again, take on last year and expand if we can. One of the additions that I would like to maybe include this year is maybe looping in the various nonprofit organizations that we have in Scituate. There's so many great groups, Scituate Facts and SEF, and I would welcome any recommendations from this commission or anybody else, but reaching out to those groups and seeing if they want to be involved, maybe setting up, having people set up tents and tables at the MBTA station, where last year attendees were able to park for free, and then they kind of use that as their stomping ground to walk the block. But that would be really fun to then have more energy and kind of things happening down actually at the train station. So that was one idea I had. I also emailed the Beautification Commission, because last I had seen a couple of weeks ago, they were on the, at least on the agenda, there were 2 dates that they were considering for this year. So I wanted to introduce myself for the Get to Greenbush event, and then also, you know, see if they wanted to partner on the same weekend or keep it separate. It does not matter to me. I want to be able to be flexible with them. I haven't heard back. I could have just gone to a rogue email address. I wasn't quite sure who the right contact was.
I have that, Shelley. I'll send it to you.
Wonderful. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So again, kind of the same idea. If we wanted to keep the weekends the same, or keep it on the similar Saturday, then, you know, if they wanted to have a table set up again at MBTA promoting Ship Shape Day and passing out bags, if the businesses were to pass out bags, just seeing if we wanted to unify efforts or if it made more sense to just keep them separate. And then I had met with Sue regarding potentially applying for a grant, as long as it's not conflict of interest. But it sounds like we might be better positioned for next year. Gina, I might email you because I have kind of some specific questions logistically. But looking into the details of it, you know, the Get to Greenbush event last year that we set up was very grassroots, and it still is. We don't have an entity that is set up to accept money from the town. So there are some logistics. I did look into that. Sue had a great recommendation about, you know, just setting up a neighborhood or business association for our neighborhood, which would be a good idea going forward for the future anyway, because it would be great to continue, you know, building upon, you know, a Greenbush business district or Greenbush business association. There's layers to that. So anyway, I don't want to bore the commission with this, but I will definitely, if it's okay, Gina, if I email you some questions offline.
Yes, of course. Send it my way.
Okay, you're the best. Thank you.
Shelley, I would look into maybe getting a group of you to join the chamber. Because then you don't have to become 501c. It's a costly process. It involves accounting and taxes and stuff like that every year. So I would say that I know that when I was on the chamber, we looked at trying to do it so that there would be the chamber, and then there would be the harbor merchants, the North Scituate merchants, and so that you guys still could kind of act as one, but you would be under that umbrella. And that would be a way to get money without having to go through the process of filing with the state every year. And it's a big deal. It's not,
okay.
It's not
it was
for the lighthearted.
I noticed that, you know, 42-page document for one, and then also trying to get an EIN, but I wasn't sure, you know, we're not a business, so that confused me. So
And you have
maybe
to file, you have to file taxes every year.
I was figuring that was probably the other layer to it. Once you set yourself up as non-tax,
Yeah,
so
and so if
biting
you
off
work,
more
if
than
you
we
would,
chew.
yeah, if you go into a sub thing of the chamber, then you could apply for grants via the chamber to anywhere, you know what I mean? And then it all goes through the chamber.
All right, Jane, you might be my list.
We did talk about that a little bit the other day, when Shelley and I were chatting, so there's a few options, I think. But now I think Shelley and Jane need to talk offline.
Yes. I'll send you my email with the through chat if I can.
Okay, fantastic. That's my update.
That's it?
I know, right?
No, that's great. No, we
I think
really
so.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, we're the last one, what is certainly not least, Scituate Harbor. Chrissy, if you have anything to tell us?
Just a quick update. We had a meeting last week to wrap up everything from the holidays and kind of go over things for next year for the holidays. There were 5 of us there. And we are trying to plan a sort of party, a thank you party. And we're going to kind of do a membership drive and a thank you party at the same time, but to thank everyone who helped get the lights on the trees and, you know, anyone who brought a food truck down for the event. So the Mill Wharf is going to host it. We're just trying to narrow down a date. Michelle's going to get back to me tomorrow. She's looking at the reservation book. But hopefully sometime in February or early March, we'll do a thank you for everyone who helped us. And the lights are still up and working. There's a few little issues, but Gilvin will be coming by monthly to maintain them and update them. But some of them seem to not be staying on every night. So we'll get to the bottom of that with him. And hopefully they still look good, the ones that are on. So
Good.
that should go forward from there. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's been pretty quiet. And I think I upped it the last time we had a meeting, I had talked about the holidays. So
Nothing
just-
coming up?
not right now, just the party. And, you know, there's a couple of little things, but not as a group until May, I think.
Okay,
That's right.
okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Chrissy?
And Emily's sorry she wasn't here. She's got her little kids, but she'll be coming to some of the meetings.
Okay, great.
Missed
That
it.
sounds good. We'd love to see her.
Yes.
Um,
Lots of energy.
yes, she does. Okay. Does anyone else have any other anything to say about any of the reports or okay, Susan, I see you're unstable. Anybody have any questions? The last part oh, she's back. The last part of the agenda, this new business, the Scituate Visitor Center. Obviously, Susie's not here, but I did give you an update on that. It was put on the agenda for the second time, just in case there was a more significant report. So we're going to hold off on that until the next time. And I don't know if anybody has a Kristen. You've been very quiet. I know you're working behind the scenes, helping us. Thank you.
I'm happy to help. I do have one thing for the Water Resource Commission.
Oh, okay.
So, one of our big events every year is to host a water barrel sale.
Oh, yeah.
And so while our audience is primarily residents, would there be an appetite to educating, to motivating businesses who are in Scituate and don't rent and don't have property management? I understand there are some barriers, but would that audience be interested in participating? And I don't even mean like contributing any money or anything, but just, being, purchasing rain barrels and being an advocate for preserving our resources in town. I don't know.
That is an interesting question. I'm not even really sure. Oh, well, maybe if you connected Jane, we're really putting the burden on you tonight. Maybe Jane could put it out in her newsletter for the business, the businesses that are part of the chamber, just to get a feel for it.
Yeah.
Jane, are you still here?
Yes, I was typing my email in the tech chat again. I'll just send it to everybody just in case.
Okay.
Thank you, Jane.
And my phone number, we could talk some more and just get some language to put out there.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm sure there's
Yes.
interest. We have different kinds of members.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, well, if there's no other business,
Uh-oh.
I could maybe have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Good.
thank you. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Sue.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Thanks.